It's Tuesday, and for Jesus, the ordeal of his suffering was only 4 nights away. The tension between himself and the religious leaders could be cut with a knife. The fuse was lit, and everyone could sense an explosion was looming. By the end of this day, everyone in Jerusalem knew one of 2 things was going to happen. Either Jesus was going to overthrow the establishment, or the establishment was going to crush him. But no one anticipated God's plan. A third option. Jesus, his son, would be sacrificed and break the curse of death. That would happen on Sunday, but today was only Tuesday. The day began with Jesus in the temple. As soon as he arrived, the religious leaders latched onto him. They wanted to know where he got the right to perform his miracles, to teach publicly, and to criticize them. Jesus answered by asking them where John the Baptist got his authority. Did it come from heaven or from man? Now this put them on the spot. If they answered it came from heaven, then the natural follow-up would have been, well, then why didn't you support him? But if they answered his authority came only from men, then the people would uproar against them. After conferring together, they claimed they didn't know. Jesus then said, if you won't answer my question, I won't answer yours. Next, a group of Herodians and Pharisees came to Jesus with a question. Now this was an interesting pairing. Normally, neither group would have anything to do with the other, but this temporary alliance was struck because they both saw Jesus as a threat. And their well thought out question? It was, is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar? It was a question meant to entrap Jesus. Answer yes, and the people would withdraw their support. Answer no, and he could be accused of leading a revolution. But without breaking a sweat, Jesus gave them a both-and response. Taking a coin, he asked whose image was on it. Why, it's Caesar's, they said. Then Jesus answered, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and give to God what belongs to God. He completely amazed them. Then the Sadducees, who didn't believe in life after death, came to Jesus with their question of entrapment. It involved a fictional story about a woman who had been widowed 7 times. Their question was who would be her husband in the afterlife. Jesus responded by saying they knew little about the afterlife. With the authority of one who came from there, he told them it wasn't like that. People aren't given in marriage. You don't know the power of God, he said. And then with one comment, he refuted their entire belief system. Don't you recall when God spoke to Moses? He said, I am the God of Abraham, not I was. God is the God of the living, not dead. You've made a serious error. Then to the crowd who was nearby, Jesus said, beware of these teachers of religious law, for they like to parade around in flowing robes and receive respectful greetings as they walk in the marketplaces. And how they love the seats of honor in the synagogues and the head table at banquets. Yet they shamelessly cheat widows out of their property and then pretend to be pious by making long prayers in public. You can imagine how that went over. The fuse was definitely lit. The stage was set for the final act. The characters were in place and the motives were clear. This was his Tuesday. It leaves me thinking 2 things. 1, I can't help but be amazed at the wisdom and calmness of Jesus. When faced with tough questions, the very best his enemies could come up with, Jesus responded with clarity and courage. Not once did he stammer or hesitate. Not once did he betray his Father. Instead, he called out hypocrisy and left his enemies speechless. And second, I can't help but marvel at the wisdom of our Father. As I said at the beginning, there was a third option they never thought of. Jesus went to Jerusalem not to overthrow a government. Governments come and go. No, he had a much bigger plan. He came to defeat death. Jesus would enter the kingdom of death, and come Sunday morning, he would break down its gates, allowing all who trust in him to follow. Death could not hold him. He rose from the grave, and because he did, so will we. That's what Easter is all about. Today, on this Tuesday, marvel at our God's wisdom and power.